beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all Mother Ascension beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all Mother Ascension beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and causes of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Mandala offering. An infinite array of worlds, each with 4 continents and the wealth of infinite ocean of realms. If I bring them all to mind and offer them without exception, please hold with compassion all beings they contain. My body enjoyments and whatever I own, my aggregates, elements, and sense sources, my aspirations now and the time to come, as well as everything I grasp as mine. By offering them all, may I be blessed with the end of self-grasping, completely liberated from the bounds of real and unreal, transcending the names, attributes of arising, cessation, coming, abiding, going, affirmation, and denial. The Supreme Mandala is the natural state. By offering it, may I be blessed to attain this state of Buddhahood. Om Guru Devada Kini Ratna Mandala Pratit Soha. Supplication to Lord Jigten Sumgan. Unequaled refuge, ornament of the world, your fame pervades the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor, Vajrayana, without a doubt. I bow at the feet of the Father, Jigten Sumgan. Continually I think of no one but you, compassionate one. Grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I realize the unelaborate nature of mind. Request for teachings. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the 2 vehicles and their combinations according to the disposition and likewise the mental capacities of sentient beings.
Now, please, everybody, please take a deep breath. Inhale fully. All the blessings, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and heal our mind. And exhale. Once more, please inhale fully. All the bodhicitta of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and all our mind, all these delusions are purified. Once more, please inhale fully. All the wisdoms of the Buddha, and so that our grasping is released. And please exhale and relax the mind like the nature of space, free from all the boundaries. And we're very fortunate to have this this time to reflect on the precious teachings. Now, we slowly come to know this Buddha's teaching is not as a religion, it's a reality nature that describes all the causality of the samsara and the nirvana, all the cause of suffering that exists in the samsara, on the base of the confusion. And on the other hand, the nirvana is the dimension of peace, happiness, which is based on the wisdom. And we all, everybody, sentient beings, human beings, animals, and so forth, the seafood, sea mammal, we all desire for peace and happiness. So that is the reality nature. And through the delusion, confusion, or ignorance, we keep creating the cause of suffering. So therefore, no matter what we do in the samsara, there's no one day say, now I'm free from all the suffering. The samsara is, as you see now, as a vicious cycle of the suffering, whether it is obvious or suffering of change, or is the condition of suffering. So our study, practice these Dharma teachings, the Buddha's wisdom, how to discontinue the suffering in the samsara. For this now, we are studying the great book, The Jewel Ornament of Liberation, written by the enlightened master, Gampopa. As he promised at the time of Buddha to benefit sentient beings in the future, he consciously reincarnated in the name of Gampopa to bring this such great teaching of the Buddha. So we always should appreciate, rejoice ourselves. I must have done something good to reflect on this precious teaching. Now, so far, we have briefly went through from the book the innate nature of the mind, the inseparable of the effulgence, and the emptiness. Means everything are constituted within that, whether we realize or not realize. Now, to realize that, then there is a precious human life. And that human life is the working basis. Not everyone is eligible to study, practice precious Dharma, because has no opportunity. The precious human life has this. That's also not enough. Then the book touches the contributor cause, spiritual master, who has all the ability, quality to share the wisdom of the Buddha. Having met spiritual master is not complete enough. Now we have to have instructions from that master. So it is called the method. So we are we have been working hard in this life, other life, going to college, and opening business, or involved in the politics, whatever, all in the technologies, all, but haven't found total peace and happiness. That's what we desire for. So we went through the obstacles, the impediments, by having attachment to this life, or attachment to the pleasure of the samsara, or only just attachment to self-interest, or not knowing how to free from all this suffering. So from the enlightened mind can see these things precisely. So to combat that, to release this confusion, then the Gampopa shares all the wisdom, impermanence, suffering of samsara and its causes, in this inexorable karmic causation, and loving kindness, compassion. Now, when these things are come together, then we get the opportunity to develop the bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the consummate path for the antidote, not knowing how to attain Buddhahood. See? So bodhicitta is the great ramification, boundless method to take care of all the confusion, both in the samsara and the nirvana. So now we are, from today onwards, we are touching on this subject. Bodhicitta is not just only for Buddhists. So bodhicitta is for every sentient beings. We should understand that, because everyone's interest is happiness, peace. See? That's the reality. So to achieve that, we need a cause. So the direct cause, the most as a primary cause on this path to experience that is the bodhicitta. So it's not something Buddhists believe, but Buddha taught as a cause, a method, how to achieve the complete freedom, the freedom of confusion, the freedom of suffering. So in reality, as I mentioned, it's not just a Buddhist. Everybody should follow this. They're nothing but all are beneficial. So bodhicitta, you said, there's a great benefits. It's like the sunshine. Bodhicitta is like the sunshine. Dispels all the darkness of the mental delusions, without exception. Bodhicitta is the complete, wish-granting jewel, which fulfills all the wishes of the individual and all. Bodhicitta is the great leader if the country has such a great leader who has a wisdom, who has a compassion, and who takes the full responsibility, then the country is much better off. Everybody enjoys by the leader of the great person. So Bodhicitta is the great leader which takes care of all the limitation of the samsara. And Bodhicitta is the great medicine. And medicine, it's not just ordinary medicine. It's the healing medicine. Bodhicitta heals all the chronic disease of the physical and mental. And it makes the mind healthy mind, a perfect mind. See, Bodhicitta is such a fire. The fire consumes all the tree, jungle. Bodhicitta consumes all the fuel of the confusion, cause of suffering. So see these things, and there, then we should inspire as not as a Buddhist, not as a practitioner, but as an individual who is interested to free from all the suffering and to achieve the perfection state of the enlightenment. So from this, with this conviction, with this reason, we should get a special, profound wisdom to reflect on this. I have no time to waste. The human life is precious because of this. I must make every effort as long as my breath exists, as long as I'm breathing. So reflect on this, and then we just, with great gratitude, appreciation, and feeling of fortunate, and follow the practice. So that's about the bodhicitta now, which will start here. So now I will read introduction to the antidote to not knowing the method of practice. Now this will explain the dharmas of cultivating the mind towards supreme enlightenment as the antidote to not knowing the method of the practice for achieving Buddhahood. So Buddha, we think some individual. So let's say Buddha Shakyamuni as example of Buddha medicine. Actually, as you know now, Buddha is the enlightened, fully awakened, enlightened one. Enlightened from the delusion of the ignorance. Now to go through step by step with so skillfully. So the text, the book, now it's the first this summary, the foundation, primary cause, special cause, foundation for the bodhicitta, and essence, and classification or division, objective cause from whom you receive it, method, beneficial effects, disadvantage of losing that bodhicitta, and cause of losing it, method of preparing, how to repair bodhicitta, and training. Once we have the bodhicitta, then we have to train. So these 12 subjects comprise the cultivation of bodhicitta. Okay. Now in the foundation, as a ground, It's Tibetan. Then that first he said refuge and precept. Before refuge and precept, you see chapter 8, foundation, the foundation for the cultivation of mind, of the supreme enlightenment, is a person who belongs to Mayana family. Now, one who is practicing bodhicitta, first that person has to belong to Mayana family. I'll read this. And there's B, taking refuge in the three jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. And the C, maintains any one of the 7 Patimokkha vows. Now this will also explain. And the D has the aspiration bodhicitta. This is for the action bodhicitta. These form, so these conditions, these causes, these conditions form the foundation from which to cultivate action bodhicitta. A person with the quality up to the taking refuge is the basis for cultivating aspiration bodhicitta. Up to taking refuge is the person who cultivates the aspiration bodhicitta. This is because, as in the mentioned in the Bodhisattva's Bhumi, is that text is written by Asanga. Aspiration bodhicitta is required in order to cultivate action bodhicitta. To achieve, to take the Bodhisattva's vow, action bodhicitta, one needs the aspiration bodhicitta. The length for the path to enlightenment, Adisha, says that refuge must be taken in order to cultivate aspiration bodhicitta. The length for the path to enlightenment also says that in order to cultivate action bodhicitta, one of the Patimokkha, the Vinaya vow, is required. The treasury of Abhidhamma by Vasubandhu says that taking refuge is necessary, required, in order to receive a Patimokkha vow. The Bodhisattva's Bhumi mentions that without the Mayana family, one cannot receive the Bodhisattva's vow, even if one cultivates the mind through ceremony. Therefore, all the necessary elements must be connected and gathered. So this is such a profound, important point here. So since we don't have much time, so you can reflect on the step by step of what now requires to receive the Patimokkha vow. What is required to receive the aspiration bodhicitta? What is necessary to cultivate action bodhicitta? So forth, step by step. So this is a very important point. Now, the A, family, is Mayana family. Mayana family. Generally, one should have the Mayana family, but particularly one should be in the awakened families. These details should be understood as explained in the first chapter in the primary course there, especially in the section of the Mayana family. Everybody has or in pervaded Buddha nature. But within that, so Buddha nature is mind of family. But everybody has it, but some are not awakened. So here, what is saying, awakened, who has the significance, individuals who has that mind. Generally associated with the compassion, responsible, avoiding non-virtues, following the virtues, So these different significance that expresses that individual. Now be second foundation to cultivate bodhicitta, take refuge in the three jewels. So Buddha Dhamma Sangha, three jewels. To explain the second topic, the object in which to take refuge, you may ask whether to take refuge in the powerful deities such as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahadev, so forth, in the powerful deities and the Nagas of one's country. So Naga is a spirit in the lake, in the ocean. Of one's country who abides, or some who abides mountain. So sometimes you say this mountain, there are some very important, powerful kind of spirits, deities here, or some boulders in a huge rock that are possessed by the deities, lake or trees, and so forth. Are they not object of refuge? Are they not the object of refuge? Because they cannot give you the refuge. So they are not the real refuge. A lot of people take refuge, in the Rocky Mountains, spirits on the tree, boulder. In Sutra, it says, worldly beings take refuge in the deities of mountains, forests, shrines, rocks, and trees. These are not the supreme refuge. So in the different country, different places, people do these things, you see. Should you take refuge in your parents, relatives, friends, and so forth, those who are kind to you and who benefit you? In our life, as earlier mentioned, our parents, our families, they are so kind. They sacrifice for us. They provide everything for us what we need. So still, they are not the refuge we take. These also will not give you refuge. The representation of the manifestation of Manjushri Sutra says, parents are not your refuge. Relatives and friends are also not your refuge. They will go to their own destination and leave you. They will go to their own destination means they will follow according to their karma. Whatever the karma they have, whatever the mental afflictions they have, they will follow with that. They are not free, basically saying, they are not free to give us full refuge. It doesn't mean we don't care them. It doesn't mean we don't help them. They are the one, because of that, they are the one we cultivate bodhicitta. to benefit them, to benefit all sentient beings. Why can't they give refuge? See, this is a question. In order to give refuge, one should be free from all fear and have no suffering. So this one important. Have no fear and no suffering. So whatsoever, when one is totally free from all the fear, not out of arrogance, not out of ignorance, but out of great wisdom, out of great confidence. There's nothing to fear whatsoever. And then also free from all the suffering. These two very important points. These beings are not free from all fears and are in a state of suffering. Therefore, Buddha are the only ones who are completely free from suffering. Dharma is the only path for the practice of Buddhahood. See, Dharma is the method, instruction that we study, practice how to free from all the cause of suffering. And because of that, then we'll achieve total fear, total free from all the fear. Practice of Buddhahood. And the Sangha is the only guide to Dharma practice. Therefore, we take refuge in these three. Thus, in the sutra, it says, from today, take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, who protect those without protection and dispel the fear of those who are afraid. Even though they may have the power to give refuge, but if I go to them for refuge, will they really protect me? So you ask this question. It's a very important question. If I practice Dharma, it really help me to free from the suffering. It will really give me free from all the fear. Are you sure? Investigate and contemplate on this. See? So they said there is no reason to doubt this. The Sutra of the Great Parinirvana says, by taking refuge in the three jewels, one will achieve the state of fearlessness. This is the one. Great Bodhisattvas who have totally actualized Bodhisattva practice and realized the total emptiness of all phenomena. Then they have no fear to benefit sentient beings. They have no fear even they go to the hell realm. So I can go because they realize the nature of the suffering is nothing but illusory nature. So there's nothing to fear. Not only that fear, but also they do this joyfully, with great honor, because they cannot bear seeing the suffering of the sentient beings. When they could help one individual, they get such great joy. I could help this individual from this kind of suffering, immense suffering he was going through, and I could help. And they get such great kind of joy. So this is, they get this through understanding and through practice. Very important to practice, you see. If you don't practice, establishing point, no, okay, good. So it's good to start with that. But without practice, no beneficial effects. See, so those need those both too. That's what it's called study and practice. Yeah. Therefore, this will explain how to take refuge in these three Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Now the summary: classification, division, working basis. Who can practice the bodhicitta? Who can practice the refuge? And the object and the time frame, motivation, ceremony, activities, training, the beneficial effects, training and beneficial effects. What kind of benefit is there by taking refuge? So these 9 subject topics comprise the explanation of taking refuge. Okay. Now first, classification or division. There are 2 categories of refuge: the common refuge and the special refuge. Now these are coming step by step. Working basis. There are also 2 different working bases, meaning working person who practice the refuge. The common working basis is the one who fears the suffering of samsara and holds the 3 jewel as a deity. The individual, I am afraid of the suffering of samsara. So to free from that, I just want to take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. The second, the special working basis is a person who possesses the minor family and the pure body of gods or humans. So this means not only me, I take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So it's not just concern for only themselves, but concern for all the sentient beings. Yeah. Then object. There are 2 objects of refuge. The explanation of common objects. First, the common objects are the Buddha jewel, precious Buddha, the blessed one, exalted, one who possesses the perfection of the purification and premortal wisdom, realizing premortal wisdom and excellent qualities means the perfect qualities. The Dharma jewel, precious Dharma, in 2 parts. The literature containing the 12 aspects of the Dharma, like the 3 baskets like that, and the Dharma of realization. So it means Dharma that what we study and Dharma that what we practice in the realization, which consists of the truth of the path and the truth of cessation. In the practice, the truth of the path you are taking from first now a path of accumulation to the perfection path. Just the path is the truth of the path. At the perfection state, when you become Buddha or Arhat, then you achieve the truth of the cessation. The Sangha jewel, which is also in 2, the ordinary Sangha as a community of 4 or more fully ordained, whether Bhikshu or Bhikshunis, monks and nuns, who have the Bhikshu vow. About 4, It's called Sangha. Has to have at least 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8, 100, See. The Sangha for noble being is called the 4 pairs or the 8 individuals. I'm sure you have heard of the Kyushu, the entering this stream. And then the once return. And third is non-returning. The fourth is Arhat. So that 4 divided into 2 each becomes the 8. So that's the object of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. And the B, he said, the special object of refuge. The special object of refuge are objects abiding in front of us, those with full realization and suchness. There are 3 of them. In the first category, objects abiding in front of us means the Buddha is the image of the thus gone one, Tathagata, the thus gone one. Dharma is the Mahayana scripture, and the Sangha is the community of Bodhisattva. In the state of full realization, the objects are the Buddha as the embodiment of the 3 kayas. So, Nirmana kaya, Sambhoga kaya, Dharma kaya. And kaya, the Dharma as the peace of the precious, noble Dharma, and Nirvana. The total peace is the Dharma. You see, when you meditate loving kindness, say, may everybody have peace and happiness, and abide your mind there. See, that's the Dharma. That peace, that Dharma peace comes from the practice of the Dharma. So the total cessation of the Nirvana, all mental obscurations are totally purified. All those delusions are dissolved into emptiness. And that's the cessation of the cause of suffering. That's the total peace. That's called Dharma. See? That's why we need to study, practice Dharma. Everybody, not only those who are only interested, but everybody need to need to follow this. See? So, Dharma and Nirvana, and the Sangha consisting of Bodhisattvas who have attained the great bhumis from first to the 10th bhumi. Regarding the objects of suchness, Buddha alone is the object of refuge, the last one. The suchness, the object of the suchness, the refuge. Buddha alone is the refuge. See, the Uttara Tantra says by the end, Maitreya, ultimately, only the Buddha constitutes a refuge for beings, ultimate. Because Buddha is the state, total perfection of the purification. All the obscurations, those are gross, subtle, totally purified. All the excellent qualities, wisdom, are totally perfected. That's why Buddha is the ultimate refuge that we can rely on. In that case, how can Buddha be the ultimate refuge? You explain me, says. You can please explain me why Buddha is the ultimate refuge. So I'm not satisfied just you say Buddha is the ultimate refuge. Yet you see, in that Uttara Tantra text said, the same text says, because that great victor is Buddha. Buddha is victorious from all the enemies of the peace and happiness. Is the embodiment of Dharma, you see, Dharma, which what called Dharma. Buddha is the embodiment of the Dharma. Buddha is Buddha. Buddha is the embodiment of Dharma. That which is the ultimate attainment of the Sangha. Sangha, you start with the Sangha, step by step, Arhat, Bodhisattvas. Ultimately, you become Buddha. So Buddha is the embodiment of the three jewels. Buddha's mind is the Buddha. Buddha's speech is the Dharma. Buddha's body is the Sangha. Or in other words, Buddha is the Buddha. Buddha is the perfection of the Dharma. Buddha is the perfection of the Sangha. That's why Buddha becomes the ultimate refuge.
Đi ngủ đấy. Cái gì mà bác biết bác đưa tay để kéo vào.
Due to being the ultimate refuge, the Sangha is free from birth. Is that right? Yeah. Sage, sorry, no Sangha. Due to being the ultimate refuge, the sage, the Buddha, is free from birth and cessation. See, this means no duality. Where it's coming from, where it goes to, there's no duality. Free from birth and death, cessation. Is fully purified. All the obscurations purified. Is free from desire. And has the nature of Dhammakaya. That's why Buddha is ultimate refuge. The assembly of three vehicles, the Sharavaka, Partika Buddha, Bodhisattva, all these Sangha of these three vehicles attain the perfection when it's achieved the ultimate purity of Dharmakaya. When these three vehicle Sanghas, when they are totally successful in their practice, then finally they attain the Buddha. Therefore, the sage means Buddha is the ultimate refuge. So our total target of the practice and study and practice Dharma is to achieve Buddhahood. So how precious this book is, brought together all the essential points for the Dharma practitioner. It's not just one piece there, here, that all put together. See, that's our total, ultimate target, the project of the Dharma study and practice. To help every sentient beings. In that case, are the Dharma and Sangha the ultimate refuge or not? Uttara Tantra, the answer pass, Uttara Tantra, yes, Uttara Tantra, answer pass Tantra says, neither both aspects of Dharma nor the assembly of the noble ones constitute a supreme refuge. You see, because of this, Dharma that what we study, Dharma that which follows the path are not the ultimate refuge. But we have to go through step by step. And the Sangha also, Sangha itself take refuge in Buddha, so we can't take refuge in the Sangha. Ultimately, but for the time being, we follow their example. Why are they not the ultimate refuge? See, why not? You know, the first type of Dharma is merely the assembly of a heap of names and writings, means all the texts. You see, you need all these texts, the books, your rituals. So say, once you cross, you have to give it up like a boat. It's like an example of boat. When you cross the river or the lake, then you leave the boat behind. You just go like this. You study, you study the book. Once you memorize the text, then you don't need the text. Once you understood the text, then you don't need the text. So it's like a boat you leave behind. Therefore, it is not the ultimate refuge. Of the two aspects of the Dharma, of realization, the truth of the path is composite, and so is impermanent. Means the truth of the path of accumulation, the path of preparation, the first booming, second booming, you develop step by step. So once you achieve the first booming, you don't stay there. You have to leave that behind. You go to second and third to the 10th until you become Buddha. So it's composite, it's impermanent. Therefore, it is deceptive and not the ultimate refuge. According to the hearer, Charavakas, the truth of the cessation ceases its continuity like extinguishing a lamp of fire. So it is non-existence and therefore is not the ultimate refuge. So if you ask to the Charvaka followers, not Charvaka, sorry, the Charvaka followers, yes. There's a nirvana. Once you achieve nirvana, then nothing exists. It's like the fire extinguished. The lamp is not exist anymore. So it's non-existent. So how you can take refuge in such? The Sangha itself fears samsara and goes for refuge for the Buddha because it has fear. It is not the ultimate refuge. Thus, the unsurpassed Tantra says, because of being abandoned and because of deceptive, the literature and the path saying, because of not existing, the Charavakas, the cessation, because of the not existence and because of its fear, Sangha, whose fear taking refuge in the Buddha, the two types of Dharma and the noble assembly are not the ultimate refuge or refuge. Therefore, Acharya Asanga says, the inexhaustible refuge cannot be exhausted. Inexhaustible refuge. The eternal refuge, no, eternal refuge. The unchanging refuge. The ultimate refuge is only one. Thus gone one. See, the four destroyer. In the four, here four is the enemy of all the mental obscurations, the enemy for the peace, the enemy for the happiness. It's all the mental delusions. They are the real foe, the real enemy. And the Buddha who's totally annihilated that enemy. So that the four destroyers, the four destroyer, the complete, perfect Buddha. So Buddha is the absolute refuge. So you see, you should understand there are especially three qualities: the inexhaustible refuge, the eternal refuge, the unchanging refuge. So these are the Buddha achieved that. Yeah. When you achieve the Dharmakaya, then one has these qualities. So look at this, look at our mind, Even right now, even though our mind is flooded, all this confusion, but occasionally you take a deep breath, look at the sky, space, no beginning, no end, nowhere, anywhere, not coming, not going. All your mind just dissolve into that state. Total peace, you see. Thus you get just a glimpse of Dharmakaya. Because your nature of the mind itself is nothing but Dharmakaya. But for the time being, while we're in the samsara, we have not recognized that. We have not established that. We have not stabilized that. So our interest is now, once you understood this, you have to stabilize that. Go to retreat and meditate there. Stabilize. This is the very purpose of our retreat, And you see, in that case, doesn't this contradict the explanation that there are three types of refuge? You see now, see, it's coming, see. Then why there's three refuge? So it contradicts, You are saying one thing, there's a three refuge. Now you are saying there's only one refuge. Why? This is all it's confusing, I don't like this. I need some clarification about this, First you said there's a three refuge, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Now you are saying there's only one refuge. So important point, you see. Then the Great Liberation Sutra says, oh yes, the three refuges appear as a method to lead the sentient beings. See, it's the relative level. We need all the supports for enlightenment, because we are not yet there. So for the method, there are three refuges. So in the Great Liberation Sutra says, in brief, one refuge and three methods, you see. So just perfectly answered all our doubts, confusion. One refuge, three methods. So look at this. No need so many books writing about these things. Just get the point. How are the three methods laid out? The Answer Pass Tantra, Uttara Tantra says, by the teacher, one, the Buddha teachings, second, Dharma, and the disciples, the Sangha, is a three. Okay. 3 vehicles. The Mahayana vehicle, Buddha. The particular Buddha vehicle, teaching Dharma. The Sharavakas, hearer vehicle, the Sanghas. Okay, the 3 vehicles. And 3 actors, the actor, the practitioner. Mahayana family follows Buddha. The Sharavaka, not Sharavaka, Pratik Buddha, solitary realizer. Pratik Buddha follows the Sharavaka. And the hearer, Sangha, follows the Arhat. The Sharavaka Arhats. So this car, the 3 vehicles and 3 actors, according to interest. Interest, Buddha, interest means devotion. Your devotion to Buddha, devotion to the Dharma, devotion to the Sangha. The 3 interests. So the 3 refuge were laid out. For this reason, the 3 refuges are laid out. The 3 methods were laid out according to the 3 qualities, 3 vehicles. Now read them: 3 actors and the 3 aspirations: interest, aspiration, devotion. Therefore, in order to demonstrate the qualities of the teacher, the Buddha is the refuge for persons of the Bodhisattva vehicle, and those who are interested in the performing of the supreme activities of the Buddha. They take refuge in the Buddha, the supreme being of the 2-legged, means human beings. Human beings are 2-legged. In order to demonstrate the qualities of the teaching, the Dharma is the refuge for persons of solitary realizer vehicle and those who are interested in the work of the Dharma. They take refuge in the Dharma, the supreme freedom from all the attachments. In order to demonstrate the quality of the practitioner, the Sangha is the refuge for person of the hearer vehicle and those who are interested in the work of the Sangha. They take refuge in the Sangha and the most excellent of all communities. Thus, the 3 refuges are laid out by the 3 meaning according to the 6th person. The exalted blessed one said, this is a conventional state in order that all sentient beings could gradually enter into the different stage of the vehicles. Okay, so this explanation of the 1 total absolute refuge and 3 in the relative level. Now the time, number 4. Time also has 2 subdivisions. In the common way, one takes refuge from now until death. In the special type, one takes refuge from this time onward until the ultimate enlightenment is achieved. This means common Buddhist, all the, like say, Sharavakas, I take refuge until I die. But Mahayana practitioners, I take refuge until I attain Buddhahood, enlightenment. Motivation, there are also 2 types of motivation. The common motivation is to take refuge with the thought of one's own unbearable suffering. The special one is to take refuge with the thought of others' unbearable suffering. You see, the motivation, general Buddhist Theravada, all this oneself. I cannot bear the suffering of samsara. I take refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. And the Mahayana, those followers, I take refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. I see the unbearable nature of all the samsara. See. Now the ceremony, there are two types of refuge ceremony. In the common ceremony, first the disciple supplicate the master to perform the ceremony, and then the master makes offering in front of the three jewels. If this cannot be arranged, then the disciple should visualize the three jewels in space and mentally do prostration and make offerings. Then the disciple repeats after the master, please hear me, all Bodhisattvas, please hear me, master, my name is such. From this time until I achieve enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas and the supreme being among the two-legged. I take refuge in the Dharma, the supreme freedom from all the attachment. I take refuge in the Sangha, the most excellent of all communities. This is repeated 3 times from the heart. Then the superior ceremony consists of the preparation, the actual ceremony, and the conclusion. The preparation, first, a qualified master who is worthy of being attained is offered a mandala and flowers, and then is requested to perform the ceremony. The spiritual master will accept if the disciple belongs to the Mahayana family and is a proper disciple. On the first day, the spiritual master prepares the objects of refuge, performs the offering, and explains the beneficial effects of taking refuge and the faults of not taking refuge. In the actual ceremony, on the second day, they performs the actual ceremony. First, the disciple cultivates the mind that the object of the refuge in front of him are the actual refuge. Thus, that disciple does prostration and make offerings. Then he repeats after the master in this way. Please hear me, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Please hear me, master, my name such. From this time until I achieve Buddhahood, I take refuge in all the Buddhas, the supreme being among the two-legged, two human beings. I take refuge in the Dharma of the peace and nirvana, the supreme freedom from all attachment. I take refuge in the Sangha, the supreme assembly of the non-returning Bodhisattvas. Thus, repeat 3 times. After that, the full realization, the second one, full realization, refuge objects are invited, and disciple visualize them as actually present. Thus, then disciple does prostration and makes offering with a mind of complete surrender. Here, surrender means I surrender my ego. Now I have to destroy my ego, attachment. He repeats the refuge ceremony 3 times as before. And after that, he prostrates and makes offering to the suchness refuge objects, suchness refuge objects, free of the 3 spheres, the object, subject, and the action. All are free from duality. All the phenomena are primordially selfless, existing without any identification of their own. The Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha should also be seen in this way. That is the, so now as earlier mentioned, inexhaustible refuge, eternal refuge, unchanging refuge, the ultimate refuge. The Naga king Anavadatta requested sutra says, what is taking refuge with a mind free from worldly activities? Those who realize all phenomena are non-existence, have no form, no perception, and no characteristics, are the Buddha, perfectly. That's the taking refuge in the Buddha. One who realizes all phenomena are the nature of Dharma Dhatu is taking refuge in the Dharma. One who realizes that the composition and the non-composition and non-duality is the refuge in the Sangha, you see. That's called free from the three sphere way of taking refuge. Yeah. Conclusion. The third day is the conclusion ceremony where one makes offering, put the three jewel with the gratitude. See. So this how really way how to take refuge. So this when you take refuge this way, so you see the conviction of the suffering of samsara and the cause, the karma of the samsara. And then there's no wavering, nothing but total. No, your mind is totally dedicated. So now activities means, what means taking refuge? See, so now here, the ornament of Mahayana Sutra, Maitreya says, perfection from all harms, you see. No, protection, sorry. Protection from all harms means mentally. All the mental delusions are harmful. Our aversion, our anger, our jealousy, pride, attachment is all a harm. They are harmful. Dharma practice helps to protect from these. Freedom from lower realms and being unskilled. That means when you study, practice Dharma, you become skillful, you become wise. When you don't study, practice Dharma, when you only dedicate to samsaric activities, you know things, doing this, but you really don't know what's the cause of suffering, what's called free from suffering, what's the cause to achieve peace and happiness. We're so kind of ignorant. Freedom from view that there is person means self-grasping. Dharma study practice help us how to release our self-grasping and protection from all lower vehicles. Then all the lower vehicles. Therefore, it is the noble refuge. That's called refuge. Means we take refuge to free from these unskillful acts, which are the cause of suffering. Thus, the common refuge protects one from all harm, and the three lower realms, unskillful means, and believe in an abiding person. The special refuge protects us from the law vehicles, and so forth. Now the training, there are three general training, three particular training, and the three common training. The three general trainings consist of making a constant effort to make offering to the triple gem. That means bringing Buddha Dharma in your heart and making offering. Even offer to whatever one eats or drinks. It is a reminding, not forsaking the triple gem, even at the risk of one's life or for great reward, and repeatedly taking refuge by recollecting the qualities of Buddha Dharma, Sangha, the three jewels. The three particular training are the having taken refuge in the Buddha, one should not take refuge in other deities or holy beings. The Sutra of the Great Parinirvana says, one who takes refuge in the Buddha is the pure upasika. Never go for refuge to other deities. Having taken refuge in the Dharma, one should not harm other sentient beings. It says in Sutra, by taking refuge in the precious Dharma, one's mind should be free from hurting and harming others. Having taken refuge in the Sangha, one should not rely on heretics, beings, views. It says in Sutra, by taking refuge in the Sangha, one should not rely on heretics. The three common training are the respect the Buddha jewel, every form, whatever Buddha, good or bad, doesn't matter, golden or dust or mud, yeah. Even a piece of tata, means made of tata, and to respect the foundation of the Dharma jewel, the books and the text of the precious Dharma, even one syllable of the Dharma, and to respect the precious Sangha jewel, the dress of the Buddha, even a patch of yellow cloth. Beneficial effects, there are 8 beneficial effects of having taken refuge. One enters into the Buddhist path, refuge becomes the foundation for all the other precepts. As earlier mentioned, if you want to become, if you want to take the Upasaka, the vow, you need first refuge. If you want to become Bodhisattvas, you need refuge. If you want to take the Vajrayana initiation, you need refuge. Refuge becomes a cause for purification of all the negative karma accumulated earlier, because lack of the wisdom of the Dharma teachings, we commit so much negative karma, Once you contact with Dharma, then you see how much mistake you made. And so it helps to purify all this and then not to repeat again. One cannot be told by the different human and non-human obstacles. One accomplishes all that one wishes. One achieves the great cause of merit. One will not fall into the lower realm, and one quickly achieves the perfect enlightenment. So this all means because we are doing right thing, we are creating the right cause. So these unwanted causes would be now taken away. We'll be free from these because of our right action. Now the third foundation is the Patimokkha's precept. The third topic is the Patimokkha precept, the individual liberation precept of vow, which are divided into 4 groups or 8 working bases. Within the 8, excepting the Upavasata, is the precept that normally you take precept 24 hours. Except that, any one of the other 7 should be taken as the working basis, as a foundation for the Bodhisattva's vow. The 7 types of pratimoksha are Bhikshu, Bhikshuni, and Shakshamana, and Sharamanera, Sharamanerika, Upasaka, and Upasika from the Bodhisattva's vow. So these are, from the Bodhisattva's vow, Bodhisattva's Bhumi, Asanga mentioned this. Within the Patimoksha's precept, there are 7 ways to take precept perfectly. There are the Bhikshu, Bhikshuni, Shiksha Samana, Charamanera, Charamanerika, Upasaka, and Upasika. These are divided into lay person and renounced, ordained. So lay person, Upasaka, and Upasika, they are the lay people. Say lay people should say precept. Why do you need a Patimoksha's vows, Patimoksha precept, in order to cultivate action bodhicitta? It should be understood that they are needed as a foundation, through the 3 reasons. So here Gampopa is not just saying, no, I think so, no. What reason he's now explaining. First, analogy, simile. Second, scriptural authority, from the quotation of the great teacher like Buddha, and reasoning. First, analogy or the simile. It is not proper to invite a great monarch to reside in a place where there is dung, dirt, or uncleanliness. That place should be well cleaned and decorated with many ornaments. Like say, if you invite president in your place, wow, lot of clean, and a lot of securities there. All this is necessary to protect the president, or prime minister, you see. Also high lamas, great teachers, So like that, to invite the Bodhisattva vow, you need your mind should be clean, Unclean mind, you cannot invite bodhicitta. Mind full of ignorance, delusions, angers, attachment, there, how you can invite bodhisattva's vow? Your mind should be so clean, pure, you see. So, say, decorated many ornaments. So likewise, one cannot invite the king of bodhicitta to reside where the body, speech, and mind are not bound from the non-virtues and are stained with the dirt of negative karma. Rather, bodhicitta should be invited to abide where the body, speech, and mind are free of the dirt of defilement and are fully adorned with the ornament of the moral ethics of abandonment, like free from the 10 non-virtues. So this is the first analogy. With the help of this example, we get the meaning. Oh, yes, that's right. Like so, now you know you have received so many empowerments from many great teachers. So how much you need devotion, to put to put a vase on your head, Scripture authority, the chapter on cultivating mind in the Ornament of Mayana Sutra by Maitreya, says its basis is vast precepts. See, it means bodhicitta's basis is vast precept. This Patimojas vow, any one of the Patimojas vow. See, so most of we have here, see, the lay precept, lay people precept. Thus the Upavasata precept, which only lasts 24 hours, is not vast. That precept is only 24 hours, it's not so vast. But the other 7, any one of 7 precepts are not only that, they are so vast, precepts are not like that, they are vast. So they are vast vow. Therefore, these 7 precepts are explained as the foundation for the cultivation of the mind, the action bodhicitta. The length for the path to enlightenment, Atisha says this: one who keeps one of the 7 Patimojas precept has the fortune to receive the Bodhisattva's precept. Otherwise, not. See, if one doesn't have any of these 7 Patimojas vow, then one cannot. There's no place to bring the cultivation of the bodhicitta, the action bodhicitta. Therefore, one of the 7 Patimojas precepts is said to be the foundation. Now the reason, by taking Patimojas precept, one abandons causing harm to others and having harmful motives. The Bodhisattva's vow causes one to benefit others. Without avoiding harm, there's no method to benefit others. So this is the reason, you see. First, Patimojas vow, for Theravada, for anybody, once you take that precept, you always don't harm others for your own benefit due to the causality nature. So that's the foundation. Then Bodhisattva's vow, on above that, you take the Bodhisattva's vow, not just only for you, but for all other sentient beings' benefit. First, if you have not made a commitment not to harm others, how you can help others? It's not possible, you see. So this is the reason here, Gampopa is making that point. So now you see all this, putting all these pieces together. Okay. Now there's a lot of argument on this. So Gampopa brings in some very basic, just to understand us. Some argue that the Patimoja vow, Patimoja ordination vow cannot be foundation for taking the Bodhisattva's vow, precept, because energies, hermaphrodites, gods, and so forth, cannot receive the Patimokkha's vows. In the Vinaya text, those mentioned there, vow. But they can take Bodhisattva's vow. So, but the Bodhisattva's vows can be obtained by these beings. Also, the Patimokkha's vow cannot be a foundation for maintenance of the bodhicitta or Bodhisattva's vow, because that when you die, it causes the Patimokkha's vow precept to cease. It disappears, stops, but does not cause the Bodhisattva's vow to cease. Bodhisattva's vows life after life until you become Buddha. So because of these problems, they're saying, some individual says, so Patimokkha vow cannot be the foundation for the Bodhisattva's vow to take. Now for that response, to clarify, see, there are three aspects to the Patimokkha's precept, depending on one's mental state. First, A, if one accepts these 7 precepts only from a desire to have the happiness of the 3 realms, the God realm, the desire realm, the form realm, formless realms, then this morality would vested interested. It's just only interested in the samsara. If one takes these precepts in order to completely free oneself from all suffering, it is the morality associated with the hero renunciation. Now, if there is individual one, I want to take this, any of this precept, 7 precepts, any one of the 7 precepts to free from samsara, but for my only one interest. So this is the hero interest, Sharavata's interest. Now the third one, C, if one accepts them with an attitude of achieving the great enlightenment, is the morality of the Bodhisattva's precept. So I take any of these 7 precepts to attain to complete enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So this is the Mahayana precept. It's the Bodhisattva's precept. Now see, even though the precept you take, the same precept from any one of the 7, but your motivation, one is interested only samsaric peace and happiness. One is interested to free oneself from samsara. And one is interested to benefit all sentient beings. You see, there are 3 different precepts, you see. Way of taking that, you see. Even though it's precept is just one, but 3 different motivations. Because of that, now here Gampopa saying, the first 2 cannot be received by new natures, products, gods, and so forth, and will cease at the time of death. So Gampopa said, yes, I agree that with you. But he's saying now, if these now vows declines, they cannot be renewed. So therefore, there cannot be the foundation for the Bodhisattva's precept. Now the third one, C, the morality of the Bodhisattva's precept does exist. It exists in the impotence, or no, see, hermaphrodites, gods, and so forth, will not cease at the time of death. If death declines, it cannot be renewed. No. If death declines, it can be renewed. Therefore, therefore, it is the foundation for precept and the maintenance of the Bodhisattva's vow, you see. If you take the wisdom mind to benefit all sentient beings, to attain complete Buddhahood, so that precept, any one of the precepts, becomes the Bodhisattva's precept. And it will not cease to exist when you face the death. If it is broken, you can renew. So see, Gampopa is now explaining that. Why is saying this? He's saying here, the commentary to the Ornament of Mahayana Sutra. What's the basis of this mind? Means, what's the basis of this mind is bodhicitta, the Bodhisattva's vow. The basis is the Bodhisattva's vow of moral ethics. See? This discipline is necessary to cultivate bodhicitta, but is optional for its maintenance. For example, even though it is necessary to have the discipline of meditative concentration in order to form the foundation for achievement of unafflicted vows, undefiled vows. It is optional as a foundation for their maintenance. There are some saying to actualize special insight, you need the samadhi, total function of the samadhi, stability of the equipoise mind. Once you realize your special insight, then that function, that equipoise said not necessary, saying, but actually it's necessary all the way to attain Buddhahood. There is no need to have a separate ceremony to receive the Bodhisattva's Pratimojja's vow. This is because previously you took the hearer training's vow. You took the Sharavaka's vow, any one of the 7 precepts. If you later cultivate the special attitude means Mahayana Bodhisattva's vow. This transformed into the Bodhisattva's vows. Even if you release inferior mind, means hearer attitude, means one is for selfish interest. You release that attachment to oneself. But you expand your mind to benefit all sentient beings. So you have not given up the abandoned mind, this training. So here, Gampopa saying that sometimes you might have taken the precept, any one of the 7, without the interest of Bodhisattvas. But later you read some books, met some teachers, and you say, oh, I'm really interested to achieve Buddhahood. So that automatically your vow is transformed into Bodhisattva's vow. Because you now release yourself cherishing self-interest, but you expanded your mind to attain Buddhahood. So because of that, you don't need a separate ceremony. Because you always, in the mind, you want to abandon all the non-virtues. You want to do all the good things. So when you take the Bodhisattva vow, then you purify all the non-virtues and you develop all the virtuous thoughts. So it's just saying, no. Thus, a person possessing the mind of feminine, one, taking refuge in the three jewels, two, and possessing in one of the 7 Patimokkha vows, is one who has the working foundation for cultivating the mind of enlightenment. Very good. Now, I was a little worrying if I can finish this chapter, So I read. Now we'll have some discussion on this. Oh, you see, Bodhisattva's vow is not that easy, you see. So we should see this. One who has the interest, it's very easy. First, you just look at the mind, at the nature of the samsara, as we studied. Suffering, like in the hellland, how much suffering is there? So dense, but that's obvious. But there are other suffering change, pervasive or the condition of suffering. So you see all the nature of the samsara. Nature of the samsara, you just look at it. Then, why these sufferings are coming from? So through this, our non-virtuous mind, as in the karma section mentioned, non-meritorious karma, meritorious karma, unshakable karma. So this, you see, as I mentioned, this skandha, the 5 skandha that we have, the body, the form, what we see, hear, smell, taste, is the form body. With that, there's a feeling. I like, I don't like, there's a feeling. And there's a perception, right, wrong, good, bad perception. And then mental formation. The mind keeps busy creating various causes. And then consciousness. You say, look at this 5 skandha. We all have this in the samsara, you see, at least in the desire world. Even animals, you see, we human beings have this. Rich or poor, educated, uneducated. So we are grasping to the 5 aggregates that what we have. I, and then my, and then we imputed the self. There's no such called self itself, but we imputed, we designated self. So yourself is very important. And then we just see, we are just grasping, fixated this. And then it depends on the individual's ability, how somebody can really galvanize this self, and take how much territory and create such a confusion and suffering. See? In the samsara, you see. Even this life, even day-to-day basis, look at this. Now, on the other hand, you see this through the wisdom, what Buddha taught and what you understood through your own study, practice. Look at this, look at it. Yeah. Oh, I understand. It's in the samsara, within the delusion. It looks very impressive, very beautiful. But in long run, it only creates suffering. Right now, if I make a war, fighting, and then I win the war, looks very impressive. But side effect, how much suffering is there now? How much you yourself, sight is lost, and of course others. How many people are suffering? Everything, business as well. You become a billionaire, but then how much you have to pay other people want to become billionaire. Look at this suffering there, you see. So I must now cultivate this. First, I must not harm others. Then on the basis of that, I must help others by seeing the reality nature. It's the wisdom, especially insight, allow us to see the manifestation of the causes and conditions. You see how it goes round and plays. We don't realize our mind is so occupied by this delusion. So you see how Buddha's teaching is so precious for everybody. Then all, as I mentioned the other day, all the animals, these sea mammals, seafood, all the cow, under the mercy of the human beings. See, all these climate things, you see, under the mercy of the human beings. If human beings have smart enough how to share, how to live the life, everybody, human beings and non-human beings, are well off, much better, more peace, happiness. See, so look at that's why precept is mentioned that. It's a precept, even the 5 precepts of the lay people. Say, don't take life. Say, don't harm others' life. Don't steal. Don't engage in all this adultery. Don't tell big lies, Don't intoxicate in anything. See, this is not just something Buddhist thing. It's not a Buddhist religion. It's the universal requirement for peace and happiness, you see. Then Buddha says here, how much the mind has the quality. As mentioned, mind is such a sophisticated, profound, vast. It's like a space. We ourselves have our own mind, but we're having a hard time to see it. We think so much, where our thoughts are coming from. We don't see that, We're making so many things to see the mind, and we don't see it. And then we're confused. Do you see? We're bewildered in the darkness of the ignorance. where the dense of the forest of the ignorance, confusion. See? So this first is important. Bodhicitta is the first step, first to cultivate the mind, the loving kindness, compassion to all the sentient beings. Look at this priceless, the gift the Buddha has given to us, sharing to all sentient beings. Because this is not a foreign thing. It's shared by everybody. But our mind in the samsara is very limited because it's covered under the delusion, obscured in that cocoon of the delusion. So bodhicitta is a way to expand that, to break through this boundary, make the mind like the space. Buddha is giving so much example, mind as a space. Space is the freedom. You can fly wherever you like to space. There's no obstruction. So the mind as well. We think so much, one after another, but we don't realize how the mind is profound. See? So the bodhicitta is the mind to expand the mind. It's not so easy, you see, because we are so habituated in our own small cocoon, and we're confined within that cocoon, and not much space is left there. Very limited space. So here, bodhicitta is to break through that cocoon and confinement, and then revealed, unconfined mind, vastness. So to do this, you see, first one has to have precious human life. Then on that, you need a waking mind, obvious, virtuous mind. Then we need such a spiritual master who can give us this wisdom. Then on above that, we take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. We have been taking refuge with our delusion all the time. Our mental afflictions, when desire comes, I guess the desire tells us, the attachment desire tells us, do this, okay, I'll do that, I will do that, When the aversion comes, anger comes, the anger says, you should do this. You say, okay, I will do that, I sacrifice, I will follow you, So we have been taking refuge all the time with these mental afflictions. But now change from that to the wisdom, Buddha who's free from all the suffering. Just the example of this, our historical Buddha, not other Buddhas, there are countless Buddhas, but look at this, our historical Buddha Shakyamuni, in his prem time, prem life, having such a luxurious life that his father provided. Now, he has such a beautiful wife, and just a child was born. Within that, he just left the kingdom, looking all the ascension beings in that country are with that nature. So just giving us such a great example from that luxurious life, honored, respected, all the fellow country. And then he went to such great hardship, even no place to live, no shelter, no roof, no roof on his head, no food to eat. Just to give example, And that also not, that's not solution. It's not solution from suffering. Then he took the middle path. So you need to eat breakfast, lunch, and then don't eat too much, Then in Bodhigaya, then he enlightened with that middle part. So then I achieved what I need. Now I realize, you see, the uncreated nature of the mind, the total freedom, the total peace, all the qualities that it has within me, I reveal. This is total freedom. Then he showed that path. First he says, not easy. But then step by step, first Four Noble Truth. He taught how to avoid non-virtues. And he taught how to bring up your good qualities, 10 virtues, so forth. And step by step, everything exists in the illusory nature, emptiness. Then within that is not just mere empty, mere illusion, but all the excellent qualities the Buddha wisdom manifests, the profundity nature of the mind, the unfathomable mind's qualities, the great, ramification, the great ramification, boundless light of the mind. He just explained all this step by step, then to achieve the perfection state of the enlightenment. So that's why there are three training of the Dharma, three wheel, training of the Dharma. So we are so fortunate. So now this book is talking about that, you see. So this is the depth. Still, I'm just trying, I'm like a small insect, running here and there, without knowing so much. So try to share, because by the kindness of the great teachers that I received these teachings. So we meditate on these as long as we have this precious human life, as long as you have the interest in the Dharma teachings, to help the people all over the world, everywhere. It's not just our small group, few people interest. We have to make the mind such great, So as I mentioned, the Gampopa, he was one person who studied with all the teachings of the Kadamba school. And then he met Milarepa, studied, practiced, enlightened. One person meditated, realized, and then he gathered hundreds and thousands of disciples and Tapokayu. Then from his disciples, how many lineage, how many teachers are produced? How many are benefited? Countless. See. So we also take these examples and study, practice Dharma, and share with others, help others. We are not thinking of planning to make big, large of Buddhist, but we are just cultivating the mind, how to sentient beings should have a just good understanding of not to destroy this planet. How to preserve this such a beautiful planet with a harmonious mind, love and compassion, and correct, right conduct, pure conduct to help others. So such a precious teachings. So this is now first preparation to cultivate bodhicitta. You see, the preparation, summation, the precious human life, and then see with the Mayana family, awakened Mayana family, and taking refuge, and the precept any of the seven Patimokkha. So this is a good foundation with that mind. With this mind, then from tomorrow we'll follow all about the Buddhist, the bodhicitta. What is bodhicitta is about? So this will make us such a good kind of concrete cause to cultivate bodhicitta. Whatever life we have now, rest. As I mentioned, I came in the early 80s. Now all my friends, many are died. Now many are old, aging, becoming very antique. So whatever time we have, let's focus on this now to practice bodhicitta, so that we can make life after life better human beings, better world to live. Now, what is about today's lecture? Again, repeating, we always should rejoice, appreciate. This is very important. They're in the world, sometimes they're doing all the bad things, still they rejoice, They say, oh, we did such great thing, There's a story, 100 monkey, they saw a moon in the lake, on the wall. And they said, oh, the wall is the wrong place. Let us bring up the moon from the lake. So then all the monkeys have fall into the wall, and all they died. And they said, oh, we are died, but okay, moon is up now. So there's some people are rejoicing all that what they did, the bad things. They rejoice that they say, we are doing great thing, making mess. But here we are really, how to cultivate the mind, how to exercise the mind. There are so many people in the world now that are depressed. They're kind of so desperate, and suffering so much physically, mentally. So here our Buddha's wisdom, the teaching, so precious to live our life. When there's suffering, we say, my suffering be sufficient to purify all the suffering of sentient beings. When I'm sick, all my sickness enough to purify all the sickness of the sentient beings. If I'm happy, I'm so happy, my happiness be for every sentient beings. So we practice that kind of mind. We can say free from the duality, hope and fear, try that practice as much as possible, step by step. It's of course not easy, but we can do it. The mind is all negative thoughts are impermanent. Their nature is emptiness. So we can do it if we have the will, if we have interest. Everything can be done. So may I be like the May I be like the flower, the beauty of all sentient beings. May I be the earth who sustains all sentient beings. May I be the shelter when the sun shines hot. It brings the coolness. May I bring the coolness of all sentient beings, the wisdom, compassion. So this is the exercise we do when we cultivate bodhicitta, even before. But these are such a precious thing. We can discuss this on the way, step by step. Okay. We have a few minutes if anybody has special questions.
Kenshin, I have a question.
Okay.
What are the 7 Prodimoksha vows?
It's mentioned there. I read it. I read them.
Did I miss it?
Yeah. Bhikkhu.
Yeah, you did. He said it twice.
Bhikkhu means full ordained monk. Bhikkhuni means full ordained nun. And then.
Yeah, you did. I thought there were separate vows. These are the
those
types of.
Yeah, there are 7 of them. You see, yes.
I see. Because within each of them, don't they take a number of vows?
Yeah,
right? I was thinking of.
Yeah, yes, you can. Yes, you may.
Yeah. I think I remember the Upasaka and Upasika vows. There are like 5 of them.
Yes,
you
yes.
know, no lying, no stealing, no killing, no sexual misconduct, no intoxication.
Intoxication.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see. And then for the bhikshuni or the bhikshuni, they take more different vows.
There's a more.
Thank
yes.
you.
Yeah, there are more. For bhikshuni,
Right.
300.
Ah,
over 300.
wow.
So if you're interested,
I honor those that do that.
I heard that now the bhikshuni vows are bestowed in Bhutan. There are over 100 nuns that took the bhikshuni's vow in Bhutan.
Right, they're fully ordained nuns, right?
Yes,
The
yes.
first.
Yes,
First ones now.
First one, yes.
Well, since the time of the Buddha, right?
Yes, it's such a good news,
Wonderful.
Auspicious, the Gampopa, the head leader of the Buddhist, he performed that ceremony. And I heard that those nuns are so happy now, So finally we got it. Now we are no different from the monks.
Well, finally,
Yes.
full female liberation, right?
Exactly, yes. So it's very, very good news and it's auspicious, And so I was also very happy about that when I heard that. So I said, wonderful,
All right, just the beginning.
Yes, it's the beginning now. Any other questions?
Kenshin,
Yes.
where can we find the 300 vows for the bhikshuni? Where are those? Where can we find those?
I think you can find in that there's that 13 volumes of Vinaya texts. So I'm sure you can find in those. There's in the Kanjuru, in the Kanjuru, there's a section of all the Vinaya, that Dua, Pambu, I think there are 13 volumes of Vinaya. So there, especially in Lung Tensik, in that Kanjuru, I think you can find there.
Thank you.
Okay, now, first, please take a deep breath. Inhale fully. And exhale all our tension. Now from today, please reflect briefly. We have all the Buddha nature, the seed of the enlightenment. Every sentient being has that. But in the samsara, many of the sentient beings, these should say, what Buddha nature are hidden under the ground of our afflictions. We have not revealed out those who we are as a human being, and especially who are interested in Dharma teachings. We are so fortunate. You can see now the qualities of the Buddha nature. And the bodhicitta is the direct cause to reveal the Buddha nature. Now to cultivate bodhicitta, to receive the Bodhisattva svar. Now we need that Buddha nature is awakened. More obvious virtues, non-virtues, clear. Then because of that, you have a wisdom to see the samsara, nature of the samsara. So suffering is nobody's interest, especially the cause of samsara is nobody's interest. But we have them without knowing. So when one has this precious human life, we have the wisdom. So we take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, especially the jewel ornament of liberation mentioned, bringing all the important points of the refuge. What's the ultimate refuge? Buddha, inexhaustible, eternal, unchanging nature. That's the ultimate. We take refuge, means that I will take refuge until I become Buddha. So first we take refuge outside, like Buddha is outside. Then slowly, Buddha is not outside, Buddha is within. Because we're Buddha nature. That makes the non-duality. The outside Buddha is no longer just outside. It's the reflection of our inner Buddha. If Buddha is consistently exists outside, we cannot talk as non-duality. See, so it's a very complex subject. But we study, we practice this. So we take refuge in the Buddha. I'm sure sometimes you hear, or you know, I'm sure many of you have recited, chanted this Kuntu Sambu Malam. You know, when you read the Kuntu Sambu Malam there, then you find all about these things. The ultimate refuge is within. Your rigba, your awareness that you are Dharmakayas within you. It's manifest, everything manifests from emptiness and all dissolved into emptiness. It's non-duality. So we take refuge in the Buddha, ultimately, that way. But before we achieve that, first we take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Buddha is the teacher who taught the Dharma teaching. And Dharma is that we study, practice. And Sangha is our guide to follow the path, step by step. As mentioned in the activities of the refuge, protect us from the confusion, from all the harms, from the lower realms. There's not outside somebody is taking you up, but we study, we practice them, and we follow to the path. That's how we are protected. That's how we are saved from the lower realms. So that refuge becomes the foundation, protect the Pattimojjhava. See? Pattimojjhava, one more step from the refuge. Refuge is the foundation. On that foundation, you take the Pattimojjhava vow. Once this Shila, Pattimojjhava vow practices Shila, the pure conduct, that becomes the foundation to cultivate bodhicitta, mind of the universal, the mind of the enlightenment. See? So that's how we can make the ground, the foundation, step by step. So we get such a good understanding. Emptiness is there. Everything is within the emptiness. But first, we have to understand all these necessary conditions. Bring all together, put together. Like when you make a fire, when you go outside, picnic, you collect all the kindles and you have this special place to make the fire. And you have to bring all together. And then you make a fire. And you boil water. And from there you make a tea or cook food, you see. So it's the coordination of all the causes and conditions that brings together. So in the relative state, you cannot ignore. So I don't need it, I don't need that, this, because relative itself is natural emptiness. Emptiness itself manifests as the relative. All our thoughts in the mind come from emptiness and then dissolves into emptiness. But we have to sort out What are the cause for peace and happiness? What are the cause for suffering? So we have to bring all together and then meditate, bring together. So with these causes, conditions, we can make a very good, Bodhisattva spa. Like we can make a really good cup of tea, or a good lunch. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Then see you tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Okay, now dedication prayers.
Concise long life prayer for Rinpoche. You who are richly endowed with glorious wealth of Dharma knowledge, who through reflection and meditating have actualized the self-aware absolute reality and shine with the 100,000 light rays of ethical discipline of the Buddha Dharma. May you Kenshin Ratnauzawa live long. Dorje Chang, Tilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dharma Lord Gampopa, Phagmodrupa, and Lord Drikumpa. Please bestow upon us the highest and the most auspicious blessings of the Kagyu. By this virtue, may I achieve the all-knowing state, and may all those who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara by defeating all enemies' confusion. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it's unborn, may it arise, where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health and long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra realize the ultimate state, Buddhahood, I will follow in their path and share the merit with all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddhas who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of unchanging Dharma as such, and by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, root and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams, assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, yogins, yoginis, and dakinis, dwelling in the 10 directions. Please hear my prayer. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May thoughts of fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. And through that, may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of mind as such and pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I in any case gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. By the virtues collected in the 3 times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drikumpa Ratnashiri, omniscient Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Thank you so much, Rinpoche.
Thank you.